Nigerian per capita income to GDP in 1960 was about $230 higher than China and much more higher than India. Regrettably, Nigerian per capita income has been shrinking, not just in the last decade, but since 1960. Today, Nigerian per capita income is 7% of that of China. Even with the recent upward review of the national minimum wage, Nigerians were hopeful of a favorable per capita income. The question is, what has happened over time? Welcome to the Market Report on ADBN Television. I am Adefolayan Olamilekan, your host. On today's Market Report discussion segment, we'll be looking at the challenge of per capita income in Nigeria. And for us on Market Report show, we want to suggest how Nigerians can get back on track. We want to also look at ways whereby the government can have opportunity to reverse the poverty and widen inequality occasioned by falling per capita income in Nigeria, and also encourage policy that will stimulate growth and attract investment into the country. But before we go into details of those discussions, let's run through trending economic issues in Nigeria. First, the Nigerian Mining Kendirasa Office has generated 36 billion since inception. According to the DG of the Mining Kendirasa Office, Engineer Obadiah Simon, who revealed this when members of House Committee on Solid Mineral and Development who visited his office on oversight visit led by Ekong Samson, the chairman of the committee. And according to the DG, the 100% generated revenue has been remitted to the federal government through the single treasury account, STA. According to UCOM, revenue generated by the office since inception is over 36 billion. And for instance, it may mention that 75% of that revenue generated has been paid to the federal government, which means that the federal government have received all this money. And according to the law that established the Kendirasa Office in 2007, it has empowered it to collect revenue from the mining sector in Nigeria. Similarly, in the news, Bank of Industry has disbursed over 1 billion to 20,000 SMEs in Ogun State. This was disclosed when the manager of Bank of Industry in Ogun State had a town hall meeting to shed light on some of the activities of BUI. Mr. Michael Agidani announced during a town hall meeting in Abeokuta that the bank have disbursed 50 billion as part of the provision for 50,000 naira grant to individual MSMEs owners as part of a broader federal government strategy to empower small businesses and operators across Nigeria. Ogun State is earmarked to receive 1 billion as it supports all the 20 local governments in the state. Similarly, federal government is initiating a program to extend financial protection to Nigerians without insurance cover. This was disclosed by Senator Ibrahim Asa Adija, Deputy Chief of Staff to the Vice President Office, disclosing this on a roundtable in Abuja. And the representatives of NICON, Nigerian Insurance Commission, Dr. Jankara Usman, who also disclosed that this particular gesture is to ensure that we have inclusivity in our insurance coverage in Nigeria. And to them, it is a tailored, affordable product that will promote financial readiness and advance social awareness, particularly in Nigeria. That particular scheme is named ASO Accord, according to the federal government, a strategy to extend financial protection to millions of Nigeria who may not be able to afford to initiate insurance for themselves. In a related development as is just happening in Nigeria, Nigeria is making a move through the National Automatic Design and Development Council, NADEC, to intensify effort to reduce Nigerian dependence on imported vehicle components. A practice that over the years we import vehicles that cost us over $1 billion. The DG Joseph Oshinekwen stated this during the Midas NFS Software Automotive Design Skills Boot Camp in Abuja. Oshinekwen described that over the years, $1 billion is used for the importation of vehicles, and his agency, which is leading, is now ready to ensure that local production of cars are produced in Nigeria. Also in the news, as part of tax collection in Nigeria. A recent report, the National Bureau of Statistics reported that Nigerians paid over 40.14 billion in road tax to state government in 2023. Though not too late, because we need such records so that we can know how much Nigerians are paying in terms of tax. And according to the NBS, the money was collected as a means to ensure that road users also have a way of contributing to the Nigerian economy. And according to the report, 63.36% increase from the 24.57 collected in 2022. And states that collected chunk of that money include Lagos, that received 16.74 billion in road tax revenue for 2023. Then other states include Ebonyi, that also making 3.8 billion, as well as other several states like Rivers State that recorded about 340 billion naira. And also going forward, Yobe State was also part of the state that also received the chunk of the revenue, and Enugu State, as well as Katsina and Cross River. Let's now go also into state news, particularly Akwa Ibom State. As a measure of economic diversification, the Akwa Ibom State government is trying as much as possible to improve on the economic diversification, and they have initiated a project called an 18-story building tower in Lagos, which means that a project of 24 months that will aim to boost revenue, create jobs, and boost Akwa Ibom and Lagos and support economic growth by attracting investment and strengthening ties from all sides. Particularly, we have been talking about economic diversification, and it's not just federal government that will be calling on to grow economic diversification. We are so proud that Akwa Ibom is doing something in that regard. And the groundbreaking of that ceremony was held in Lagos with Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as well as other dignitaries that include Governor Udo, former Akwa Ibom State Governor Udo Emmanuel, as well as Obong Victor Atta were also there. Now to the global scene. The US election is over. The winner is already known. But what is happening to global market, global economy is what we need to quickly digest. For instance, South African rand dropped sharply as market tipped toward a Trump win. And South African rand has dropped sharply against a struggling dollar because there is this possibility that Donald Trump is going to take the presidency in the US. And this is quite interesting, as analysts have also predicted that 1.6% against basket of currency in South Africa, whereby the government of South Africa is planning a 2030 bond also to support their early deals that yield over 11.5% points in 2022. Now, a reaction also greeted the market. Reaction in the sense that many people are looking at the win in the US election, particularly how the dollar has been faring. As I reported yesterday that because of the global US election, a lot of global economy were having challenges, particularly as it freeze, and US dollar was also freeze. But as the news of the election start coming up this morning, marketers are already reacting. For instance, the dollar surge and US stock future hit a record high as investors bet on the lower taxes and higher interest rates as Republican Donald Trump claimed victory in the US presidential election after leading vote that is still on counting and ongoing. Now, to market that is quite interesting for most of us, are car users, car owners. BMW profit has really gone down, particularly as they talk about a weak profit as China sales break issue. That is on the BMW that they are complaining about a 61% drop in top quarter after profit miss. Analysts expected that because of the slump in China sales and a brake problem, was said it was on track to meet a just full year financial outlook. According to a statement by BMW CEO Oliver Zipse, said after extraordinary challenge in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter we are back on track for stronger earning to achieve our annual target. What BMW is suffering from is that in China they expect a much buoyant sales of their vehicle, but as they have it in the third quarter of 2024, it is quite sliding. It is nosediving. This same thing, is similar report that we're also going to bring to you right now, is about Honda. Honda also posts a 15% fall in quarter 2 of their operating profit and missing forecast. The Japan Honda Motor reported a surprise 15% drop in second quarter operating profit on missing. Analyst expectation is that a suffer heavy sales decline in China and Japan, being the second largest automaker in the world, is operating a profit of over 257.9 billion yen. That is 1.6 US dollar in all being said. So automatically, automobile are suffering shortfall in sales. So it's affecting their sales across the world, from BMW to Honda. Now, a quick run through the trending stock exchange market in Nigeria is what we are going to be looking at, and that will show us how the stock is performing, particularly either from the bullish side or the bearish side. As of today, the deal that was recorded in all stock index was 10,676, a volume of 56% decline in volume, 42% improvement in turnover, and 3% improvement in deals. Market value is about 20 trillion naira, and market capitalization is 58.9 trillion naira. But all share index is over 540, 769.495 billion naira. That is from the stock market in Nigeria. And as I always pointed out, about 124 listed equity participated in trading, ending with 26 gains and 21 losers. Corn oil led the gainers with 9.93% share price appreciation, closing at 208.10% share, followed by United Bank for Africa, that UBA, with plus 9.87%, and NSL Interlink plus 9.87%. Meanwhile, on the losing side, Oando is leading on the losing side, came close with an year in 9.98 minus 9.98%, followed by Dark Communication with minus 9.68%, Regency Alliance with Insurance minus 6.52%, and Veritas Capital Assurance with minus 6.25% as of now in terms of the trading shared in Nigeria. Now, a look at energy commodity as well as other trading commodity will help us to be able to understand what is happening in the global market, particularly commodity, energy first. We look at energy commodity from the angle of what is happening in the crude oil price. And interestingly, the crude oil price have not changed. Maybe because of the US election that is happening. A lot of OPEC prices, Brent, Bonin, is still being maintained as we speak. WTI is still maintaining 71.744. Brent crude is maintaining 75.35. Bonin Light is maintaining 73.35. OPEC basket maintaining 74.35. Natural gas 2.787. Coal 143.90, as well as ethanol 1.58. Gasoline is 2.03. As you greet your screen, you can also see it as I read out that the energy price have not really changed. Maybe after today, after the winner have been announced in US election, we could see an uptick in the crude oil price. All right, I think I'm getting a feedback from my producer that the winner of the election has been announced and Donald Trump is back to the White House. A big congratulations to Donald Trump from all of us on the market economy platform on ADBN. Let's go to the next slide of our discussion in terms of the commodity price. We talked about precious and industrial metal. The price still remain the same. Gold is 2.742, silver 32.644, copper is 4.435, steel is 3.332, iron ore is 103, well, palladium is 1.086, platinum is 992, and lithium is 7.250, and lumber is 561. Then let's go to the next slide of our discussion in terms of the commodity price, so that we can also review agricultural commodity, particularly foreign price commodity. They still remain the same. The election hangover has affected commodity price across the world, so they still maintain the same price as we saw yesterday, but with a little changes here and there. But as the US election winner have been announced, definitely there is going to be a round trip, an upstick in the agricultural commodity, particularly from the foreign agricultural commodity. Let's look at local agricultural commodity in Nigeria, which will guide us as we go into the market. Soya beans is 1,049, wheat is 785, cocoa is 11,000, maize is 592, cotton is 164, rice paddy is 732, the millet is 438, cashew is 1,200, and sorghum is 7 95. And very interestingly, my guest today is a commodity expert. So he's going to give us a brief on some of those aspects of commodity as we run it. Now, to the issue at hand, and as we also look at the foreign exchange, the Naira exchange rate. Let's quickly run through the foreign exchange. US dollar is still trading at 1,666 to Naira, where pound sterling is trading at 2,163, and euro is 1,801 to 1 euro. And that is all on the commodity price, the exchange rate, the foreign exchange, Naira exchange rate, and other aspects of global commodity. Now, to the bottom of discussion of today, for the areas we want to dive into, particularly looking at the per capita income in Nigeria. A lot of people will ask, what is per capita income? What is it all about? Why should we be diving into such discussion? It's very important. Just recently, the minimum wage was reviewed. But many Nigerians don't understand when minimum wage is reviewed, it has an impact. It has a foundation. And what is that foundation? The foundation is per capita income to the GDP of a country. How did they measure it? How did the government arrive at minimum wage? All this will be the point of our discussion with my guest, who is an economist and a commodity expert. In a short while, we're back. Let's go for a break.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
In a world of overwhelming voices, where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Welcome back from that short break on the market report on ADBN. I am Adefola Lamikon, your host. We are back to our discussion section where we normally analyze the major point or what we really need to know, what we need to inform our people. And the talking point of today is per capita income. What is all about per capita income? Why do we need to analyze per capita income? What is it all about? Ordinary Nigerians need to understand about per capita income. My guest is here in the person of Malam Ishaq Yaya. He's a commodity expert as well as economist. Malam, you are welcome.
Thank you so much for
welcome
inviting me.
Welcome you to Market Report.
Thank you so much, then.
Being your first time on the show, we know you are going to give us the best in terms of analysis.
By the grace of God.
Now, a report came out recently, Malam, about capital income in Nigeria.
Okay.
And it was not a good story.
Yeah.
And they referred that report back to 2004. And they said in 2004, we had the best per capita income.
Yes.
But now, it has shrunk.
Yes.
And historically also, it has also been recorded that earlier in history, when Nigeria got independent, our per capita income was about $230. Yeah. Higher than that of China, higher than that of India. But the question is, what has really happened? over
A lot
the
of
years?
things happened. Thank you for inviting me. I think it's a very good station, you know, always updating people. You know, I can see how you just got the information about Donald Trump coming in as this his second time. Everything has to shift from one angle to another, you know, originally. Now, going back to our discussion, you know, generally Nigeria, those days, we always refer to the previous as something that happened, because then our forefathers or in the previous, we are not mindful of our hospital bills coming from the outside. We are not in any way going to buy luxurious things from the outside. We are not in any way, we are focused internally, doing our things, doing our majorly maybe agricultural activities. And then our policies are original, you know, from the inside. This is what is happening and this is the way to solve it. But this time around, there is infiltrations of the fine-tuning of the IMF and the World Bank coming in to dictate some of the things, maybe indirectly or that certain things that ought to be done in terms of all these policies and the way we are going and the reality on ground, the economic situations, and it's leading to some social vices and the rest. The crux of the matter, of course, our policy, they might not be doing good, or they might not be the right ones, and that is the reason why. And this very economy, when you get your GDP total, then you divide it by the number, you get what is called per capita. Exactly. And that is exactly what we are looking at. If you want to know the real situation on ground, that's the correct definitions of what we are trying to look at when we say per capita. And then, of course, the nature of every economy, it is in terms of country, you need to look at it from that angle in order to know the strength of that very
I think
economy.
we'll come to that, because one of the highlights of the report is that a comparison, I think my producer will help me with that, with those highlights of those figures. The comparison of Nigerian GDP as a slide today from 2004 to now, and the comparison of Nigerian GDP and per capita income with other West African countries as is further sliding, is giving so many people worries. And as rightly pointed out, our policy is now becoming a misstep policy that doesn't have direction because of influences from outside. Now, do you think that those influences and those missteps of the policy of the government is as a result of we not having an internally homegrown economic policy that would have helped us to be more productive and enhance per capita income of Nigerians?
Yes, you see, you are right. In a clear terms, if you look inward, you will definitely be looking at the status of economy.
Exactly.
And then when you don't look inward, you begin to look for a window screen dressing, and then you begin to talk in a different level, and that will not lead you to anything, any other thing, but a quagmire of economy like that of the United States of those days that found themselves, and what they do was to look inwards to the status, and what they did to them was to actually give them some leverage in terms of MPR, which here we call the monetary rate, which is to the common, when we go back to the layman, we call it interest rate at the bank. So what is there is to focus on those monetary policy. Is one of the tools of monetary policy for contraction and expansionary measures of economy. So in that sense, you need to bring down, if actually you want to replicate what the United States of America in the 1929, if you want to replicate that in order to grow your home economy, it is by reducing the interest rates from 10 to somewhere around 3 or 4%. And that the people in there, in the United States, then they keep collecting these debts, and then the liability now became smaller compared to the assets that they acquire, and that is when they exit from the situation of the economy then. And if we look at the situation during the Great Depressions, when John Maynard Keynes intervened in terms of government and government cum the private, they came together and they solved issues that is marvelously kind of acceptable by any right-thinking human being, by bringing the starter, you know, to intervene in a way. There is nothing that intervention is good, but it depends on how you take it to the people.
Now, let me on the issue of intervention.
Yeah.
The current government of President Tinubu is targeting a $1 trillion GDP.
Oh, yes.
Currently, our GDP is around 550 to 600 billion $. And if you measure this as against the per capita income, the average Nigerian per capita income is $877, which is quite poor.
Yes,
Poor in the sense that more expectation is expected from a such huge GDP economy.
Right.
So, in your own understanding, what do you think have drafted this GDP downward? Because I'm coming, madam. You already pointed about intervention. You already pointed about NPR. You already pointed about some physical policy that the government have put.
Yes.
And in recent time, new minimum wage also came into fusion.
Yes.
So how do we marry all this together? Because for ordinary Nigerians watching us, they really want to understand all this quagmire we have found ourselves.
Yes. You see, it's very simple. In order for me to go into various analysis, let me just hit this straight. Get a cheaper money, and then that will lead you to creating industry that will lead to producing cheaper goods, and that will lead to employing youth and general working class that will work there, and those cheaper goods will be sold at cheaper rates. And in combination or in conjunction with the energy reduction for the factories in terms of intervention like subsidy, the electricity, the transportation, and then even the energy in general, even the fuel subsidy. I'm not proponent of subsidy at a point in time, but fuel subsidy in general is a good thing, but not in Nigeria because of the situation we found ourselves. If you said this is this, then the next thing, instead of bringing X, somebody will bring Y. Or bringing X with the off one of the legs of the X. So one of those things that I am not a proponent of that. So hitting the ball on hitting the nail on the head straight out is getting the cheaper some money. Probably the Nigerian thing with regards to cushioning effect, to seeing how even a starter or a factory can collect money without even collateralization. It is possible because there are something that you can tie to it. It is possible. It's done many places, you know. And also there are so many other things like holiday, tax holiday. These are some of the things that is growing many economies in the world, but we are taking it for granted. People will come here and do story. If you meet commercial bank people now, out of 99%, nobody is going to give you the correct way of investment in Nigeria. But just come and save and then deduct, do some taxes on you, and then some management fee on you, and that's all. Instead of growing the money, investing it where it's supposed to be invested, they have zero information on those areas.
Now, Doc, I'm so sorry, Mala, I have to cut you because you know this program is quite one of the insightful programs that if we don't put out the right question, we need to put out so that our people can really understand what we are discussing.
Exactly.
We may just end up not getting what will impact our people out there. Now, one of the key issues, one of the findings of SBM Intelligence, the intelligence agency that did this report, was that floating of the Naira contributed significantly to the dropping and declining of per capita income in Nigeria. Do you share that idea with them?
You see, the floating, I can say, it has created relief at sometimes, and then later it made the economy, especially the exporters, vulnerable, because there is more confidence, because the nature of an economy is based on impression. So when you give an impression, people would read you in that aspect. So there was an impression that the floating of the naira with this preparation earlier, that the Nigerian government borrowed almost $1.5 billion dollars, and then they brought in with the mindset that this will stabilize to some certain limit, and you can see it has gone overboard. So I don't want to say my story as part of the serious people that are into partial exportation. And I tell you, at the end of the day, we lost so many things. And not losing per se, but we refuse to even go. Those people that went and did the business, they lost. So seriously, if you are even to check the sector that lost money seriously in terms of uncertainty and going down, going up with regards to instability of this dollar thing, is exporters. Because I don't know why they are not talking. I'm telling you, most exporters, they lose because it's about 15 to 20 something days on water. So within that, before you even get there, what you have collected as part of the order, before you get there, the order that you have collected, thinking you have gained, you are losing when those people are offloading before they get to pay you. You know, so because this is LC, letter of credit. So most of the time, letter of credit is accepted because it's irrevocable in some senses. In some senses, especially in some of this our commodity like hibiscus, soya beans, sorghum, and the rest. And again, where we are is the end of the year. Is a bumper harvest kind of for this. Like soya beans is going to be soon in the next 2-3 weeks, and also some of the rice are also going to be, and so many things. Cashew is going to be around January, February, and the rest. So some of these things are now people are preparing, and there is uncertainty from the outside in terms of impressions of our economy. That is also leading to so many things. Sorry, you asked me about the instability and the floating of the naira, but I'm telling you, these are what
collaborative challenges that come into
the thing that brought about this things, and is if you check the index of commodity demands, you can see that it's not compared to the previous year, and then we are not going to have it well in the next year because the fundamentals of treating and keeping the something in a very well cruising point, I think it's not in order. Exactly. So we need to take it very seriously, because the people demanding this commodity from the outside, they are really having it in an impression. The impression is not really good.
Adding to that, one of the key problem also identified that led to decline in per capita income is that the government policy is not effective enough.
Right, yeah.
And one thing they made mention was that there's a policy somersault in Nigeria. There's one thing that government will start, then there's another thing they will be doing. There's one thing they'll be doing at the left hand, there's something else they'll be doing at the right hand. A good example is this. The government is pushing out several intervention funds through several of its agencies. But the key issue that will address productivity has not been taken care of, which is number one of them is energy. Maybe I think my producer will also help me with the slide to show us how Nigerians are going through several of the challenges that we are faced, particularly from the slide that was released by SBM talking about the range of declining of per capita income in Nigeria. I think number one of the slides will be better for us to see, so that we can see how far Nigerians per capita income has fallen. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's greeting your screen right now. You can see the per capita income in Nigeria falling to 73% in the last decade, the lowest since 2004, and that figure is quite scary. I don't know whether any member of the presidential economic team is watching us. They should look at this, because Nigerians should be looking at, okay, they have increased minimum wage, but the problem is that minimum wage or whatever they have increased at the per capita income level to our productive level, it is nothing.
Yeah,
I want to respond on
power, the economic, the power of the money to buy things is getting lower and lower. And again, we don't have what we are producing, like electronics and vehicles and motorcycles and some things that China's are doing. We're supposed to put things together and be selling to the Africans, and that's when this very maybe devaluations of naira will be sweeter because you get more money. But nobody is interested of some of your things, and the only thing you are even dealing on is some of the agricultural produce, and these agricultural produce, they are not given quite good attention by clearly stating a clear statement of fact. And again, truly interventions were given like the Anchor Borrowers program, but we have dictated the problem there, and the solutions are there. So everything is in order. When you request that, you will be given, and some certain things should not be given just hand to hand. Some of the agencies that these monies are domiciled or are given, of course they are there to buttress, to check some of the policy and see it having the oversight you are saying, somersaulting and the rest. And that is exactly, some people, they will just arrange, it is just an intellectual judo. You just do in order to get X, Y to turn to another thing different, like I said earlier.
Before we go ahead, I quickly want to put this out, that the program is to inform Nigerians, give them the right information about what is happening. What is happening is that our per capita income is declining, is shrinking. And it's important that certain policies of government that are not working need to be encouraged to work. And that's what we are doing on Market Report. We are not here to bash any government, we are not here to criticize any government beyond not providing practical solutions. And we have it here on this platform. And my guests have said so much about what government can do. You may mention about the commodity market, linking it to the floating of the naira and what has happened over the last 2-3 years whereby the naira was floated. And although there are results, because as far as the government is concerned, the dollarization of Nigerian economy must be carried out. Dollar is not our national currency, so nobody should be using that to carry out any transaction in Nigeria. And this platform is also in support of that. So, Malam, in regards to policy of government, we want to encourage a genuine policy that can solve this problem of per capita income shrinking. Because by the time you compare Nigerian per capita income to Ghana citizen, to Benin Republic citizen, to Ivory Coast citizen, in the entire West African zone, it's only Nigeria that our per capita income is shrinking. So we must encourage government to be able to boost up that aspect.
You see, all the time, government brings out or comes up with very good policies. Like the livestock program implementation committee. I was one of the invitees. I think I was the 69th person there. So, and we sat down just last month, 25, 26. So we discussed on the way forward. And then we give our report. I think we have about 11 subcommittees. Rangers in groups. We have about 11 groups, and I think I'm among the ruminants. And this is livestock. There's poultry. There's conflicts resolutions, and everybody provides solutions. Jega is the co-chairman, and then Mr. President, His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, he is the chairperson of that. He was there, and then it was a sweet program when you look at it, with the solutions, with the you see, these are, yes, we are, I don't know, at the end of the day, we hope to have a better options to it, a good program that will see us having milk being exported, fresh milk being provided to you here without additive, zero additive to these stations, and then, you know, even your health will increase. In Abuja, every house will be given this, and then meat will be provided. Even the way and manner the meat will be kept, we have already provided the solutions and policy that will make it better. Even the fiscal policy and monetary policy, we have touched on them, on the way forward to be able to look at the beginners, to not to take it in comparison, to treat everybody with the same issue. We said this as an agriculture should be given a prioritable kind of attention in order for the interest rates to maintain some certain level at any point in time. Because if this should be brought in, I tell you, in terms of interest rate, the GDP will increase.
Definitely.
Because right-thinking people will come with their idea of bringing factories that will be of manufacturing, and so many other things will come on board. The doctors and professors will be asked to provide feasibility studies in order to handle the idea of an investor or the idea of a professor that, or doctor, or a master's degree holder, or a skill acquisitions guy that is so brain that brought about something that is a touchstone kind of thing that will catapult Nigeria to a better positioning of Africans coming to buy those things from us. That time, those kind of period will be the better time for Nigeria to devalue it, so that many money will come into the system.
Exactly.
And because even inflation has its own...
I'm even coming to inflation, because there are three elements of factors that were being discovered to be the problem of per capita income in Nigeria.
Yes.
One of them, which is the foundation, is lack of productivity. Because if you are not producing, definitely there will be a challenge for people to earn. There will be a challenge for government to earn.
Currently, you are strangulated.
Exactly.
You are strangulated in the sense because some people will be using interest inflation.
Exactly.
But I tell you, the economy is strangulated currently, and that is why monies are not produced. You see, the laptop and whatever gadget here you are here, in the absence of money, they will never be created.
At all.
So therefore, the money that we are telling our Nigerians to go and borrow to buy the money 30%. If you check the interest, if you check the profit margin, it's not more than 5%, 2%, 3% on those transactions that they are going to do, and maximum of 10%, 20%. But we are telling Nigerians to go and borrow money or to go and get money from the bank at 30% or 27%. I tell you, nobody will go, and the money will now decay there, because it decay in the sense we will be dying in the situation that we are facing now, because nobody is going to go to borrow those money that are of like 200% compared to his margin as in profit.
Exactly.
So he will even, it's not even fair to divide the interest, I mean to divide profit into two. You know, if you are dealing because you want to give me money with my senses, with my idea, you know, with a lot of things, and battling with, you know, sleepless night and days and restlessness, you know, and coming to get 10 naira, and you are asking me to give you the entire 10 naira plus another 10 naira that nowhere I can go and get it. Even the business, that means you have drained the business, you have made it moribund, and it's not going to work. And let me tell you, currently the Nigerian economy is strangulated by this kind of idea.
Exactly. Let's look at that angle of strangulation of the Nigerian economy, particularly when productivity is lacking. And a lot of us have armor. My guests in the studio have armor on productivity, because one of the key issues that capital income normally draw out is that if the country is not productive, there is no way the GDP will rise. And you know, from either nominal GDP or real GDP, both of them work with productivity. And as my guests have said, one of the key solutions that he has pointed out is that the interest rate that we slap on businessmen and women is one of the things that is discouraging productivity in Nigeria. Because when they cannot go to the bank to borrow money and do businesses, there is no way they can survive. And on the part of government, with fine policies, with very cogent, stringent, effective policy, one hand it is working, on the other hand it is not working. That's why most times when they come out, they say, okay, physical imbalances, monetary challenges, and the rest of them. But we need to look at an effective ways to address this per capita income. It is not about increasing minimum wage here and there, but looking at how productivity can be achieved in Nigeria so that we can have more people earning better money. Now, Madam, apart from inflation that we have quickly looked at, they also pinpoint the challenge of corruption in the system.
Yes.
So how does corruption come in to the issue of per capita income?
Yes, per capita income, yes, is contributing. But I tell you, most of the times, somebody had an accident, and his hand is off, but he's asking of his wristwatch. When you are asking, your hand is off, but you are saying, oh, where is my wristwatch? He is mind about the wristwatch. That is exactly what we are. When we are not ready to get the thing right, you know, we'll be bringing taxes onto some certain things that is not productive. You are now saying pay tax, and people are paying tax on a collapse economy. So it is not in any way, because you did not read my own. If I ask you what business I'm doing and what I'm gaining as a profit, intelligence units should know this, should know that average of this and this and this is XYZ business that we're doing, and this is the maximum they could go. Averagely, you take it, and you now send in your own interest rate. And I tell you, I'm battling, I'm still bringing it back, because this is the situation that it is of concern, even as you ask me this question, because it's still tilting towards.
I know.
The corruption even sees its way, because it is when somebody is pressed that is going to go to a bathroom or toilet or wherever, you know, or convenient.
Exactly.
You know, so it is the quagmire we found ourselves. Most of this crisis, I tell you, some people are innocent, but they are pushed to settling some certain bills that is pressing to settle, and that is why they could go into those issues of corruptions, because they even in the mindset of an Africa and Nigeria, it's not always settled. Even in our driving, even if nobody is pursuing us and we don't have anything to do at home or anywhere we are going, but we will be speeding. In a sense, you can see what is driving us, because even, okay, look at it, because I will come back to the seriousness of the fact that Africa itself is a special purpose vehicle, and Nigeria is one chance vehicle. The moment you elect your president, as soon as he enters that villa, it's a one chance vehicle. In the sense, he will not return because he's sweeter, but it's very painful. In the sense, the problem cannot be resolved, and again, his mindset is there to also solve the issues of IMF and World Bank. And that's the problem Abacha got. And that's the problem Gaddafi got from the West. And he is dead now. And all of them died because of this kind of situation. You can't jump their policies in a way. It is not tied to something, but I'm telling you, it's freely going. And you have to seek their advice. If you don't, then advice from them, it must be taken.
Exactly. In terms of advice, we are already advising our government.
Because they will tell you that, look, you have to come for solution, and the solution is that you take money. And those monies, they are attached with condition and conditionalities, and you must follow. One is the valuations of the money. Is the first one, I think. And the second one, of course, downsize. Downsize of your workers. And then so many other things. And then recently, because the backing of some of the government in the world, of course, same-sex is being involved as a condition to some other countries, even to some African countries are given clearly that they ought to embrace it. And you can see how it's leading us. So if these things we are having, we need to look inward with regards to policy, with regards to solutions, not these very Harvard electronics guys, the super economists that will tell you that even in inflation there is what is called indiscipline. Indiscipline in the sense that you will be given something to buy. You say corn, how much? 300 or 200. Then because of the availability of money, then you pay. Because you are indisciplined, you're supposed to price it.
Exactly.
So they refer that as indiscipline. And they are bringing it in as a solution to economy, not to allow money in circulation. And one of the tools that is being used not to allow much money in circulation is the MPR, you know, to raise it up when you don't want, to bring it down when you want people to come and borrow. And this, I'm telling you, if you do it 10%, you will see the economy is growing more than that 10%.
Exactly. Now, as we begin to round up, I think Malam has said so much around this particular issue of inflation, talking about MPR rate, talking about issues that really boils down to why the per capita income in Nigeria is shrinking. We can't reduce this. We just have to say it as it is. and we just have to say it in a way that we can encourage and also, draw government attention to some of these things.
Yes.
And on this platform, the Market Report, our is that we want to encourage our political office holder and managers of our economy that Nigerian economy need productivity. That is one. That Nigerian economy GDP is tied to government ensuring that things work perfectly for us. And again, we have seen that government is doing a lot of diversification in the area of the economy, but they must be focused. Focus on manufacturing, focus on technology, focus on agriculture, as well as show example to others.
And
I think, Malam, we have some few minutes to go, so just quickly.
Yes, I can congratulate Nigerians, because recently you are talking about focus on so many things. There's this skill acquisitions. I think they now have a seat at the FEC to be seated with Mr. President and be discussing. So, in general, please, there are so many ways out, like the National Incubation Center, that can be given a privilege to listen to acquire, to get these people, and also to start thinking on how you can grow home thing, to have, of course, like a domestic product in order for us to have it being sold outside, so that we can earn money from those things. We can produce, we can manufacture, we can do many things. How we can look into this, it is what the current government did by listening, acquiring, because you can, without going to school, if you acquire skills, you can also be employed and reach almost to the point of level 014, I think. Is it 14? So it is a good one. I think we are looking up to it to be better. And the good thing is that let's look inward, let's reduce interest rate, let's have those manufacturers having a better deals in terms of collateral at the bank. And that's the way forward. I think that's the way.
I think we end it there, Malanya.
Yes.
Ishak, we have to end it there. One of the key suggestions from Malanya is that we have to reduce interest rate. If productivity need to take place in Nigeria, if cottage factory, either in the rural area or in the urban area, need to work, they need money. And where would they get that money? It is not that money will fall from anywhere, but it will go to the bank. And for banks to be able to give them money, interest rate must come down. Yes. That is one of the key suggestions from Malanya, because per capita income among West African countries, Nigeria is on the bottom of the table. From all of us, from Market Report on ADBN Television, I want to say a very good day to you all. Enjoy the rest of your day as we come your way tomorrow.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
It is Groovy Mono, aka the Steez Prince.
Yo, what's up? It's Big Shags. I'm in London.
Hey guys, I'm Princess Jekoko. My name is Mutale Mwanza, the Queen of Zambian Media.
My name is Grand Prince Aitek. Hi guys, my name is Baj Adebule. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello guys, I'm Falagade Banks.
My name is Kelechi Amadiobi, photographer, storyteller.
My name is Lanrade Dura. I'm an actor.
My name is Chidi Mokeme.
Hi, my name is Uche Uba.
It's Touré season.
I'm Miss Thames.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and papas, I am Jimmy. You can call me the entertainer.
My name is Essie Odometa. I am an actor and a film producer.
My name is Sobi Kubala.
Hi. My name is Julius the Genius. I would give a shout out to ADBN.
Big shout out to ADBN TV.
You're watching ADBN.
And you are watching.
Keep watching ADBN TV.
And this is ADBN TV.
And this is a shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching, don't switch the dial. Shout out to ADBN. Keep watching, love.
And you are watching ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV. I've got one thing for you. Make sure you keep watching ADBN TV.
And shout out
to ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV. Don't touch the dial.
And you're watching
ADBN TV. Keep watching ADBN TV.
And I'm shouting out to ADBN TV.
You're watching ADBN TV.
Keep watching ADBN TV. This is where to be. And you're watching ADBN.
And shout out to
ADBN TV.
And shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching.
And you're watching ADBN TV.
keep watching